So I have some legs that are having a problem where the joints are actually so close together on the stock, like knees, that it's rubbing the paint away. And so what we're trying to do is reduce that problem. And so we have to take off the knee joint from the upper, like the thigh and the lower legs, and then kind of minimalize it, cut it up a little bit, and so it doesn't scrape so much of the good paint off. Obviously, I painted this before, and it's like a green from the. It was over the like a Halo Infinite Pilot legs, and I just kind of painted it once as a primer, and I realized, I need to make sure the joints don't rub off the paint that I put on there. What's the point, right? So I'm going to do a little thing. I'm going to dismantle the three parts, the upper, knee, and lower, and take care of that. I'm going to do each one, each leg, and maybe I'll get to the torso and head stuff later on. So to do so, we have to pop off like the side of the kneecap, like the side of the leg, the side of it. So you have to pop it off. The first thing we did is we hair dried it, which is probably the easiest way instead of boil and pop, which makes it slippery. So I like to do the hair dryer method, which warms everything up, maybe 15 seconds, maybe 45 seconds, depending on what kind of plastic you're dealing with. But also, if it's still kind of wet, you're going to get a lot of rub on your hand, and that's not good. You're going to get a lot of extra paint. You're going to be using your hands a lot all over this thing, and if you are, you're going to rub off fresh paint, is what I'm trying to say, or paint that you don't care about, hopefully. So I'm going to repaint this thing later anyways, but we have to snap off the knee joint from the lower and the upper, so now it's going to be three parts. To do so, we have to use a little handy dandy tool to kind of pry in there, and also watch our fingers, because it's easy to stab yourself. Early on in my customs career, my personal customs career, I stabbed myself so much. I X-Acto knife my thumbs and fingers so much to where I had to go to the hospital once. I had to go to the local the firehouse, just to like get it stopped from bleeding. It's You do what you gotta do for your sport or your trade or your just even your customizing your little art, and you learn along the way little things like how much pressure to use on this tool. Not much is a better answer. So here, I'll zoom in a second, but what we're trying to do is, now that the kneecap is off, we're going to kind of cut around where that kneecap joint rubs, and so that it leaves a little extra space for when there is paint, it does not rub. I know it sounds so simple, but we really are trying to make sure there's clearance, so they don't even touch most of the time. If they do, what we're going to do is, which I learned later on, is making safe, a save point for your material. And in doing so, once you trim everything to where the joints are clear, they have more clearance to work with and don't rub so much. You're going to want to paint it. And once you do your paint, your light coat, whatever it is, you also want to do a clear coat after. Once that dries, of course, you do a clear coat and let that dry. It's the easy process of paint, dry, clear coat, dry. But those clear coats will enable it to be like a save point. You let that dry, now everything's kind of sealed in. And so when we get there to that point, we're going to be looking real good. And as you can see, I'm going to do both legs. I took them apart. I have three pieces each, leg, all the leg pieces and the knee pieces, 3 and 3, left and right. And now I'm going to make sure I trim that little space where the joint kind of slides and pivots the lower leg. Make sure there's clearance. So when it is finally painted, that little joint, the kneecap, is painted and the lower leg is painted and they're clear coated. There's a little extra space to where there's even less, or there's more room for clearance, and we want that clearance to be enabled to allow less rubbing. It's so simple. Less rub, better. So we're getting there. As you can see a little close up, I'm just kind of trimming right there with the X-Acto knife. I'm not hurting myself yet. It's been a while, but not too much pressure, just enough pressure to where you feel like it's going to work. Stop, try again. Don't overpressure yourself and slice your finger open. That's the worst. These are highly volatile positions to be in and it's easy to bleed from here, and they're hard to stop if they cut the wrong way. Just be careful. And the next step, it will be painting. And I didn't tell you before, but what this is going to be, these lower legs will be the lower half of a Starbuck character I'm doing from the Battlestar Galactica series 2003. So that would be pretty cool. I'm excited to do this one.